All right. Levels look good. Visuals look good. Everything looks great. So welcome everyone to a continuation. Last week was what I called Multimedia Learning Content Creation Part 1. And I knew this would be at least 2 parts because it is, there's a lot of stuff going on with the project. So when we stopped last week, we were at the point that you see here on the stage. We set up some stuff in the background. So this is all imported from an Illustrator file from Adobe stock. We set up some stuff in the background. We set them into different layers, and we added some audio from the assets panel up top here and did a little tweening with some of the little nocturnal creatures. So let's have a look. We'll do a test movie just to set the baseline, see where we are and what we need. Yes, this is the idea. There's 4 little animals. Squirrel. That come in and out. And this was a request from a viewer. Hey Sean, how are you doing? Hello, Eigen. Am I saying that right? I hope so. Eigen, and Sean are both here. So welcome. Yeah, I'm starting this one a little early today because I do have a thing coming up that I should attend directly following this. So I want to make sure I've got enough time. So I started a little early today. So that's fine. Yeah, it's flexible, right? All right. So let's see here. Yeah, we have... Oh, the dentist? The dentist said my teeth are perfect. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Yeah, and they usually are. I usually don't have any problems, but, it's still a little... It causes concern, when you have to go to the dentist. There's just always, you never know what's going to happen. So I always worry about it. Even though I shouldn't. Right. All right. So, yeah, those little animals. So what we need to write out the name of the animal for each one. And we need to jump over into Adobe Audition to record voiceover, audio pronunciation for their Latin names. So last time I looked up and wrote down all of the Latin names for the different little critters that we have here. So I'm ready to go with recording. Yeah, there they are. With recording this stuff. Yes. So let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and find on the timeline. So here's the what's it called? The title of the piece. Here's our first little critter that comes up. So what we need to do, maybe I'll just create a new layer here, and I'll just call this names. So in my names layer, what I'm gonna do is set a keyframe somewhere around here. So after the little critter comes in, wait a little bit, pop in a keyframe right there. And of course, this is an empty keyframe, which for those of you coming from something like After Effects or Premiere Pro and dealing with keyframes and those applications, right? There really isn't the concept of a blank keyframe, right? Keyframes are always tied to, content because they're produced, based on the data that's there. Positioning data, rotation data, scale data, whatever it might be, right? So, yeah, inside of Animate, if you're not used to it, you can have blank keyframes because keyframes only exist as a filled keyframe when there's actually content in that layer on the stage at that keyframe. So that's why it's blank, but it's not going to be blank for long because we're going to go ahead and use our text tool. We're going to type in the name of this guy. So this is a little, no, this is not a possum. This is a porcupine. So let's go ahead, copy the name from my other screen. Paste in. There we go. Porcupine. So what are we using here? Filcudi is our font. This is an Adobe font. Actually, it looks pretty good. Maybe I'll just keep Filcudi. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. And this is one of the longer ones, so 64 points. You know, I'm not really sure as we're doing this. It's like, do I want to have these fade in or anything? Maybe they'll just pop up. Just keep it nice and simple. Hedgehog? Yeah, maybe. Sean says, thought it was a hedgehog. Yeah, I've been calling it a porcupine, but maybe it is a hedgehog. I guess that's one of the benefits to having an illustrated version of this thing is, you know, some of it's kind of up to interpretation, right? So with text, one thing I really like to do inside of Animate when I'm working with text, and this comes from like back in the day when I was doing a lot of Flash stuff, and one thing that we were always very careful to do when working in Flash, producing stuff for Flash Player, would be with text, well, you'd have to be very careful with the X and Y coordinates of the text. You always wanted the X and Y coordinates to be on whole pixels, because if you didn't do that, the text would get kind of like blurry and funny because it's across partial pixels. One of the neat things about Flash Player at the time was that, you know, it was one of the only platforms really, because web browsers didn't do it, that was able to, you know, actually place things on partial pixels. Like other platforms, that wasn't really a thing, especially if you're talking about the web. With Flash Player, you're able to do that. So as a result, whenever I'm working with text inside of Animate, I always make sure to have my X and Y coordinates at whole pixels, because just to, I guess out of habit, but you know, to give Flash Player its due. Even though we're rendering this just to video. So, of course, we don't need any kind of runtime aside from a video player. All right, so 135, 555, perfect. So what I'm gonna do here is think, okay, I want it to be on the screen for about that long. And then let's find the next one. There I go. All right, so the next one is not a porcupine, right? No. The next one is a wolf. So, boop. Let's go ahead and align that. And I always do this. Yeah, so let's do 350. Keep that on a whole pixel. Yeah, I don't think it matters anymore. I mean, especially when you're just rendering to video, right? And something we can do too is over here, we don't want this right here. Just get rid of it. So you can see down here, it only lasts for that long and then it's gone, right? Because we removed it. Now it's a blank keyframe again. Perfect. And yeah. There he goes. want to make sure to change this. So flying squirrel. Hello, Sylvina. How are you today? Welcome. And yeah, if you haven't said hi, go ahead and say hi in the chat, everybody. Let me know what you're up to. 190. Yeah, so basically we're setting up these names so that we can then go and record audio to place in here as well. Flying squirrel. There's the little possums. These are my favorite. These little possums. They're really cute. Cute little possums. Which possums in real life are not so cute. Possums are one of the ugliest creatures that I think I've ever seen. They're hideous. So my apologies to any possum lovers out there, but they just doesn't do it for me. Possums. All right, we'll have it last till there, and then yeah, we're done after that. So actually just make that a blank keyframe. So now if we play it back, it's going to have the background audio and the name should appear along with the animals. Animal name. Animal name. All right, looks like it's good. So now that we've done that, we can go through and open up Adobe Audition. All right, here's Audition, right? Let's maximize that. And yeah. Yeah, and I want to emphasize too, this is not my artwork at all. The illustrations, I got this from Adobe stock from their free library. I just brought it into, it was a Illustrator file. I brought it into Animate as separate layers, separate objects, and then I was able to rearrange it to fit my 16:9 stage. I think we're doing like a standard 1280 by 720 for the width and height of the stage, because we're targeting video here. For now, there's an idea to make it interactive too. So we'll see how far I can get with that. Anyway, Adobe Audition, right? So let's go ahead and create a new file. Right up here, I'm gonna do a new audio file. And what should I name this? Possum. Mono, yeah, that's fine. All right, so possum is, let's see. So the Latin pronunciations here, some of them are really kind of hardcore. Didelphis virginiana. Didelphis virginiana. Okay. Possum. Didelphis virginiana. All right. Trim that down. Possum. Didelphis virginiana. Great. So all I gotta do is take this guy, file. Let's go ahead, save as, or export file. And we're gonna set this guy, not in Dropbox. Over here, browse, just put it in Creative Cloud and save it as a wave. That's fine. All right, we got one down. Sweet. All right, let's do another new file. I'm going to do 4 of these. I'm going to name this one Squirrel. All right, so let's see. This one's shorter. Pteromini. 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 All right, let's give it a go. Flying squirrel. Pteromini. That's what you call close enough. Flying squirrel. Get rid of this gap here. Flying squirrel. Pteromini. All right, let's go ahead, export, file, save it in my Creative Cloud files as squirrel.wave. 2 more to go. We are making good time. New audio file. This one's going to be wolf. All right. Wolf. Wolf. Canis lupus. Let's get rid of that first wolf. 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 Canis lupus. That pronunciation is pretty good, I think. Better than that flying squirrel. All right, 1 more to go. This is going to be porcupine or hedgehog, but I'm going to call it porcupine. Yeah, I called him pork last time as a shorthand. Porcupine. All right, porcupine is, and this is a doozy here. Erithizon dorsum. Erithizon dorsum. Porcupine. Erithizon dorsum. Porcupine. 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 Erithizon. A little too much of a pause there. Erithizon dorsum. Perfect. All right, and we save this off, and then we're done with Audition. Export that file. Porcupine wave. Save it to my Creative Cloud files. And quit. No, I'm good. See you later, guy. All right, back inside of Animate. So I hope everyone enjoyed the butchering of all of those Latin pronunciations. I hope that was interesting. So let's go ahead and apply them. Names. So I'm going to reuse the same layer right here that I use for names. I'm going to just add audio to each of these. So starting off right here, here is porcupine. So open up Finder and Creative Cloud files and porcupine. I'm just going to drag that wave file from one screen and right onto my stage. Boom. You can see it places it directly in there, right? Oopsie. Porcupine. Stop. Porcupine. Porcupine. Erithizon dorsum. Uh-oh. Now you see that. It's, maybe we need to put it in another layer so I can control where it starts a little better. So let's do that. So all I gotta do to fix this right now, if I click on any of these these frames, I can see porcupine.wave is in there. I can say none, and then it removes it. So cleanup is pretty simple. So I'm gonna call this pronunc. Just keeping with that Latin here. add an empty keyframe, and if I go to sound, I can then choose porcupine.wave. Whoa. What are you doing, porcupine? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so look at that. He's really... What's going on there? Oh, it's on event sync. Let's do stream sync. So we can actually hear it. Porcupine. Erethizon dorsum. It's too long. I take too long actually saying these things. That's a bummer. Well, maybe we do need to get back to... Yeah, I gotta do it like within... Calm down. I gotta do it within like 2 seconds, it looks like. 8 seconds here, 10 seconds here. So, yeah. Audition, I summon thee. Hello, Audition. So what I'm going to do is just pull in all 4 of those. And I need to trim these guys down. Make it work. So what do we got? We got 3 seconds. Uh-oh, right? That's okay. You know what we can do? We can go through here and time and pitch, stretch, and pitch. Let's see. Double the speed. Yeah, that takes it to 1.3 seconds. New duration, 1.4 seconds, yes. See how this sounds.
Porcupine, Erethizon dorsum. Porcupine, Erethizon dorsum. Porcupine.
No. That's not good. New duration. Let's say 2. Oops. 2.4.
Erethizon dorsum. Porcupine.
Really?
Erethizon.
Well, how about that? Dorsum, porcupine, Erethizon dorsum. Here we go. Porcupine, Erethizon dorsum. That is gonna work. Just set it to 2 seconds. Apply. Porcupine, Erethizon dorsum. Porcupine, Erethizon dorsum. Great. Save it. Possum, you next. This one looks smaller, doesn't it? I'm spending more time in Audition than I am in Animate here. Stretch and pitch. New duration. 1.5. Possum. Dadelphis virginiana. Possum. Dadelphis virginiana. Possum. Set this one to just 2. Oh, 2. 2.0. Dadelphis virginiana. Possum. Dadelphis virginiana. Possum. See, that one's pretty good. Save it. Squirrel. And again, if you're just joining, welcome. Let me know what's up in the chat and how you're doing today. As we go through and fix the length of these, let's say 1.4. Oops, come on. Come on, buddy. 4. Fly. Flying squirrel, Terramini. Flying squirrel, Terramini. And wolf is the last one. Wolf. Canis. Wolf. It's like, what are you doing? Like, the word wolf is just like a weird pronunciation anyway. Like, it's... I don't know if everybody else says it like that. Wolf. Like it's a very... it's like a... It seems very drawn out, you know? To me. Anyway. 6. Why? Come on, buddy. 6. Apply. Wolf. Canis lupus. Wolf. Canis lupus. Canis lupus. Wolf. Woof, woof, woof. All right, perfect. Well, I mean, not perfect, but you know. All right, so here we are. Let's take this keyframe back where it was. Actually, I'm going to zoom in a bit here so I can deal with this a little bit easier. Yeah, so we're going to have it start. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. There we go. Joseph, you keep doing things. I know. Porcupine. Let's go ahead and drag that in. Yeah, replace existing items, please. And I'm going to set this to be, instead of stream, event. That's going to make it so it just plays and continues to play. Wolf. Event. And you don't even have to do the keyframe. You don't even have to select it. You can choose any of the frames in the frame span, and it would work. Squirrel. Boop. Ah, see that one? Ooh, shoot. Do I have... Why did it do that? That's weird. Huh. It should only do that if I've got automated keyframes on, which I do not have auto keyframe on. So it's a little strange, Animate. Why would you do that? Awesome. Boop. And they're all event. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and play it and see what happens. Because these are event sounds, they're not synced to the frames. So I'm going to have to do test movie to play it. See how it works out. Porcupine. Erethizon dorsum. Wolf. Canis lupus. Flying squirrel. Terramini. Terramini. Sounds like an Italian dish. Possum. Dadelphis virginianum. It's like, yes, waiter. I would like a glass of the finest terrine, please. All right. So there is that. So what we got going on here is we got the thing. Let's say it's good. So we want to export this to the video. So I'm going to choose File, Export, Export Video/Media. And we're doing 1280 by 720. We're going to do the entire movie, H.264, match source adaptive. Send it to downloads. Sure, why not? Export. And it is exporting. So, I should have probably opened up Adobe Media Encoder first. Oops. Oh well. We'll see what happens. Sometimes Adobe Media Encoder gets a little weird. It looks like it's working out just fine though. And if I go to my downloads. Does it exist in there? I don't know. I don't think it actually worked. Yeah, what I always try to do is I always try to open up Media Encoder first. So like it establishes that nice connection between Animate and Media Encoder. Sometimes you have to do that for other applications as well that rely upon Media Encoder. Yeah, it looks like it didn't actually do it. Because yeah, it should have launched Media Encoder, and Media Encoder did not launch. But it's coming up now. And yeah, I mean, whatever. There it is. So another thing we could do, if you don't like going through that longer way, there is a quick share and publish up here. And if you click that, you can publish and say you want an MP4 video, and it's gonna do basically like kind of some default. Just put it out. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, so it's catching up with me. It did the last one already. Now it's doing the second one from the quick share. Yeah, Media Encoder is weird how it does that. I wish there was like a better relationship between all the different apps that use Media Encoder. That stuff like this wouldn't happen, but this is just how it works. So there we go. There's our video. This is an actual video file now. I can upload this to YouTube, wherever I might want. Porcupine, Erethizon, Dorson. Erethizon, Dorson. All right, so that's that version, right? Let's go ahead and actually make this interactive. So I do have some time left, and it makes sense to have an interactive version that you could like put on a website. Somebody could click to see each little animal, right? So to do that, we need some navigation. I'm gonna create a new layer. And I'm gonna name it nav for navigation. Now we're doing some UI stuff. Oh my gosh. And what I'm going to do in my nav layer is I want the intro to play before the nav comes up. Once that goes away, we can stop it. Actually, let's make... yeah, so what we'll do is just pause it here and there, right? So I'll pause it right around here. So we'll add in a new blank keyframe. And this is where we'll build out the navigation elements. And we're going to make this really simple. So I've got all these different assets, right, inside of my my stuff here. We got pork, the porcupine. We got Posse, the possum. We got a squirrel, and then we got the wolf, right? And you know what? We could put the title in here too. Why not? I'll just move that over there. And we're going to resize all these things. Like so. Now who's first? Porcupine's first, right? And then the wolf, and the squirrel. Yeah, so we're doing a very basic little UI here. It's just got the pictures of the animals. Because this is kind of meant to be used for like children, right? Learning the animal names. And what we can do too, let's select all these guys and let's make them in silhouette. That would be fun. So to make these in silhouette, because they are movie clip symbols, if we go here to color effects, we could take brightness and just take that all the way down. Then we've got silhouettes for all the little creatures. And this is black. So yeah, here we go. Let's use our align panel and just, we're not going to align to stage. We're going to align them all centered to one another, and let's distribute them to their horizontal center. And for something like this, you may need to adjust, just eyeball a little bit to make adjustments because they're not shaped the same, right? And once that's all done, just shift these guys over to the edge. There we go. Now we've got a basic, what's it called? Basic, navigation we can use. So I'm just adjusting this, put a drop shadow on there instead. It's going to work out better, I think. Yeah, so basically the intro comes in, boop, 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 and then here we go. Nocturnal animals, right? So what we're going to have happen is it's going to stop it right here too. So let's add in a new layer called actions. And here's where we'll put all our code. Instead of animate, the code is going to be tied to individual frames, keyframes. And actually, if I do this right now, it's going to require that we write action script. And if we write action script, we're tied to Adobe Air for our publishing, which we don't want. I mean, we might want that, right? But I want to put this on the web, so I want to target HTML5 Canvas. I want to target JavaScript. So I'm going to choose File, Convert to. I want to convert this to an HTML5 Canvas document type, so I can target the native web and use JavaScript. There we go. HTML5 Canvas.fla, save. So we are going to have some issues. Oh, layer effects are removed. No. No. Yes. So you can see it removed the layer effects because HTML5 Canvas is too wimpy. It can't handle the layer effects. That's why Flash is still a superior platform. All right, so here we go. We've got these movie clips here, right? And they're all in silhouettes right now. So what I need to do is I need to give these all what's known as an instance name. An instance name in ActionScript or JavaScript is going to be just a name that you can use code to refer to that object. So I'm going to just call this porcupine. Try to spell these things right. Porcupine. Wolf. So you can see very simple. Wolf. Squirrel. Possum. All right, there we go. They all have instance names now. So I can actually lock that layer. I don't need to do anything else to it. What I do need to do is I need to stop the playhead right here. So in my actions layer, let's go ahead and open up my actions panel. I'm gonna say this dot stop. That's just a little bit of JavaScript that's going to stop the timeline right there. So if I play this right now, it's going to publish it as HTML5 Canvas. Now it's going to open it up. You can see inside of my web browser here. It plays until it hits that point where we told it to stop. Then it stops. And right now, nothing happens when I click on these, right? Nothing whatsoever because we haven't written that code yet. So let's go ahead and do some of these things. There's my output panel. Who gives a darn? So here, yeah, porcupine. So what I'm going to do is add a keyframe in there. And I want to give this a label. So frame labels you can use to jump to different places on the timeline instead of using numbers, frame numbers. So I'm going to call this P1. Just keep this simple. There he goes. This being P2. Actually, we can zoom back out again, right? So P1, P2, this is P3 right here, right? Oops, that's okay. P3. And you can see when things do receive a label, it actually shows up in the timeline as well. And then P4. Yeah, so labels, code, assets, like everything in Animate is tied to the timeline. So another thing I need to do here in my actions, let's go ahead and open up that again. So this dot stop, I need to replicate this dot stop everywhere that I want the player to stop. because we're gonna jump like to P1 here. It's gonna play, and then we want it to stop before it hits P2. So I need to put in another little fellow right here. And this is just gonna be a little bit of code. This stop. Right. Go over here. Pretty simple, right? Just wherever I want the timeline to stop. Put one at the end too. I just put that to stop. All right, but back over here on this first one, here we actually need to tell it like, hey, I want to go ahead and when somebody clicks on the porcupine, I want you to go here and play it, right? So we're going to add that code using the wizard because it's more complicated. And most people probably don't know, you know, this dot stop, easy enough to remember. For event handlers, it's a bit different, right? It's a bit more complex. So I'm going to say add using wizard. This brings us to the actions wizard. I can use step 1. So I want to play, right? I want to go to a frame label. Remember P1, P2, P3, and play from there. So this timeline, I want to play this timeline and enter frame label. So here's a string, just P1, P2, whatever. Next. So the next step is like, when do you want to jump to that particular frame label and play? On mouse click. When you want to click what? The porcupine. Finish and add. So what this says here, oops, yeah, I don't want to do that. What is going to happen here is it's saying, hey, whenever you click porcupine, I want to execute a function that says this, go to and play P1. So now that we've got one of these, we can go and just copy and paste. So we've got 4 of these. So P1, P2, P3, and P4. And instead of porcupine, what's the second one? Wolf, right? Just change that instance name. Wolf, square L, oops, square L, and possum. Possum. Did I spell that right? Go back to my nav and just click possum. Yeah, square L. All right. Another thing I'm going to do is go into my publish settings right here, more settings. And I want to, I don't want to loop the timeline anymore. I want to center the stage and I want to make responsive. Yeah. Let's put a preloader in there too. Why not? Okay. That should be it. Let's see if I did it right. Play. Here it comes. Now notice the music isn't playing. The reason that the music isn't playing, it stopped. The reason the music isn't playing is because of browser security restraints. So in order for sound to play, you have to actually wait for a user interaction to occur, or the security model will just shut down any audio from auto playing. All right. Porcupine, Erethizon, Dorsum. Stop again. Flying squirrel, Terramini. That was a weird glitch, wasn't it? Possum, Didelphis virginiana. Fun. Yeah, so that's pretty good. There are some other things we could do to improve this, of course. One thing is we need to have something to start it off, right? So way at the beginning here, you know, I could put in some kind of a prompt or an overlay, just waiting for somebody to click and play, right? So maybe we make this fill, get rid of the stroke. I'm gonna create a big shape over this. And what we're gonna do is turn this into a movie clip symbol. Oops, I could turn it into an object. Movie clip symbol. I'm gonna call this play BTN for play button. So now we can give this an instance name, right? call it Play Me. Color and effects, let's take the alpha transparency down so it's kind of like an overlay. We could put like a little message in here too saying like, hey, click me guys, whatever. And yeah, right here, let's get rid of it too. Put a blank keyframe in there so it only exists for that beginning part. And what we'll have happen, gosh, it's so tiny. Shift that over a bit. So the first frame isn't even going to have any audio on it, right? And then in my actions, again, let's open this up. And what I want to do is say, add using wizard. I want to play. And I'm just going to say like, I just want to play it. Just play this timeline. Next, on mouse click of play me. Finish an ad. So now what happens is it waits. Oh, we have to make it wait, don't we? This dot stop once again, right? So now if I play this, it should stop right away. It waits for us to click. So another thing that's a problem is the background, how it's animating, right? The stars and things like that. Right now, that stuff is, it's pausing when everything pauses. We don't want that to pause necessarily, we want it to keep going, right? So how do we fix that? We fix that. Here they are, clouds 1, clouds 2, and I guess we don't, do we need to do that to the stars? I don't know. Clouds 1 and clouds 2, what are the stars? I think the stars are, is it a big movie clip symbol? Let's shut all this down here. It is a graphic symbol. Let's make this a movie clip symbol. So basically anything that I want to repeat, just looping forever, I want to make into a movie clip symbol. So I'm going to set its behavior to that of a movie clip symbol, and you can also go in the library and I can find my stars. Right now it's graphic. And if I change properties of this, I could change it to movie clip. And then it should just go. So what I'm gonna do is select all of these things that are part of the background animation. I'm gonna right click on those layers that I selected. Now I'm gonna say, I wanna convert these 3 layers into a symbol. Movie clip symbol. I'm just gonna call this animated BG. And there we go. It's now a movie clip symbol. Now a movie clip symbol, as you can see, when I scrub it, it doesn't play back here. However, if we publish, then we should be able to see that. Yeah, sure enough, check that out, right? So it's paused, the main timeline's paused, but you know, you still got this animation going on. And then when you click it, oh, and it's set to stream right now, right? So that's something we need to fix too. But again, easy. I just click on acoustic affiliation, and instead of stream, I'm going to do event, and we want to repeat this loop. Just going to loop it over and over again. Easy. And hopefully that's it. All right, so click. It starts playing. Should pause the main timeline, but everything else should keep going. So it waits for us. Then I can go, if I want to check out the possum, Adelphis virginiana. Squirrel. Flying squirrel, Terramini. Wolf, Canis lupus. Porcupine, Html5 dorsum. Yeah, that all works pretty good, huh? So now I've got 2 versions. I've got my HD video that I can just put as a video up on YouTube or something. Somebody can learn from that. And I've also got the interactive version that I can publish for the native web. I can put on a website and people can just click through it. So, indeed, super good. There was one thing. Oh, yeah. So the only other thing I was thinking is like, gosh, I probably should have like raised the, made my voice louder, right? Inside of Audition. So I could do that. I don't know. It's pretty loud.
Anis lupus.
It's pretty good right now. Instead of doing that, what I could do is actually lower the audio here. Oh, I can't because it's HTML5 Canvas. You don't have the ability to access the effects. But yeah, I could bring this into Audition and lower the volume if I wanted to. And yeah. I mean, there's ways to do it through code too, but I don't think there would be a wizard thing for this. Sound, no. Audio, no. Yeah. So you would have to probably like bring it into, you know, from the library, create an instance, bring it in. And this is getting, ooh, you know, I feel like I've pushed it with the amount of code that we have done. And I don't want to really push it much more, because you're all going to fall asleep if we do that. Anyway. Very good. So, there we go. We've got our both things taken care of. And that's everything I wanted to do. So, perfect. I'll actually upload the video to my Behance page. There's no good way to embed like HTML5 Canvas stuff inside of Behance. I'd have to like put it somewhere else and then like share it through an iframe or whatever. But that's fine. The video is good enough, I think. I do want to mention that next week is the Adobe for Education Summit. I've got a couple of things going on during the summit on July the 26th. So I'm giving a presentation around After Effects and Lottie extensions and working with XD. It's a really quick little presentation. I also am hosting a special event that evening for AELs. But next week, I'm going to do a bit of that for this stream as well, probably. We've talked about this internally, that I may do a similar kind of thing on my Behance stream next week, based upon the content from the Adobe for Education Summit that I'll be presenting and organizing and so forth. So, perfect. Thanks, everyone. I will see you all next week. Or, you know, if I see you during the summit, if you do decide to join up, say hi. I'll be there the first day. Probably not the other 2 days, but the first day is, you know, is, in my opinion, the more interesting of the three. So, all right, cool. Thanks, everyone. See you later.